It's time for us to have a tech conversation, and for that, we have the duo of David Ogebe and Glory Olamigoke to discuss tech revolution in Africa. All right, guys, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome to
So
be here.
when you hear tech revolution in Africa, some people are like, really? And I'm like, people don't know that a lot has happened when it comes to technology in Africa. There's this assumption that it's still a Western thing. Is it possible for you to share light on this?
Well, looking at the African tech ecosystem, a lot has happened. Looking at the past decade and what's going on currently, there's a lot of technology penetration.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of sector development. You look at the fintech, look at the agri-tech, and a lot of sectors are being revolutionized by tech. And that's the reason why we're here. So a lot is happening in that sector, just to summarize it.
So when we talk about revolution in Africa in general, I tend to not want to talk about Nigeria alone because I always feel like when we talk about Nigeria alone, it seems limiting. But Africa as a whole, what tech revolutions have been really massive, especially in the last 5 years?
All right, so within the last 5 years, you're asking about tech trends.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple trends that are on the rise. For example, there's AI, artificial intelligence, there's IoT, Internet of Things, there's 5G, there's mixed reality, for example. And what we are trying to say is that while these trends are happening globally, Africa should not be left behind. Nigeria, where we're in right now, should not be left behind. West Africa, East Africa. In East Africa, for example, we have hubs like Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, for example, as well, and that are just growing and rising and taking the trends. And so West Africa, Nigeria, which is a leader in West Africa, should not be left behind. And that's what tech revolution Africa is about.
So let's talk about the tech space now, bringing it home to Nigeria. What influences have you had personally in the tech space in Nigeria?
So over the past couple of years, myself and Glory have played real big in the tech talent space. So we currently run a training and mentorship academy where we take these talents raw and we train them and mentor them through trending tech courses, short-form trending tech courses, like you mentioned, AI, cybersecurity, digital marketing, data analysis. And over the past couple of years, specifically 2 years, we've trained more than 4,000 talents.
That's impressive.
Yes, and we've partnered with international organizations to do that, and even local organizations to do that. And not just trainings, because of course, when you train these talents, the next thing is they need to get out and sort things out for themselves. But we train them and we mentor them, right? While giving them the opportunity to connect with industries where they can leverage what they've learned in the academy during the mentorship program. And it's more like a full cycle development, not just a training program. So that's what we've done in the past couple of years. You want to shed more light on what maybe I've missed so far?
Yeah, so I mean, full cycle, you come in knowing nothing about tech, we train you. The mentorship part is where we get established professionals and companies already to come show you the ins and outs, right? And from there, we place you in a job, internship, right? And from there, you can grow your experience and build solutions.
So I'm really interested in the training part. Now, you talked about the partnerships that you've had trying to pull this off. Does it mean that how then do you get remuneration from this? Say, for example, when people are getting trained, there's usually something like a payment. Is it gratuitous? Is it completely free? Maybe something you're giving back to the society, or something that even if it's not free, it's heavily subsidized. Please tell me more about that.
So it's really interesting because we've trained for free, absolutely free, 100% free.
4,000 people.
Yes, over 4,000 people.
That's a lot.
Yes, trained for free. And because we did that in partnership with international organizations and they paid, upfront for the training of Nigerians. Now, these trainings are done both physically and online, so hybrid training processes. And the facility is provided for them. They get to access these technologies. They get to interact with it full time. And not just trainings like I mentioned. So they are also put into projects. It's one thing, especially in tech, to be trained And it's yet another thing to build your portfolio and to demonstrate that you are capable
Absolutely.
of delivering whatever it is
Yeah.
you've learned so far. So the trainings, just to reiterate, were done for absolutely free. And to some of them were done highly subsidized. I mean, if you want to go up front to pay for these courses, you pay huge sums. But in our training and mentorship academy, they are fully and highly subsidized. Yeah.
So I find something also really interesting about this. The fact that over 4,000 people are being empowered. Now, the fact that you give it to them at highly subsidized or free, depending on what kind of course, are they also mandated to pay it forward? Or it's something that probably just ends with them? Because sometimes some of these trainings, you're required to pay it forward, teach some other people and stuff. Is that the same thing?
Right. So when we place you, for example, in a company, you will be required to pay for it, but not in monetary terms.
Okay.
We are not just training people; we are building people of value.
Yes.
And so, chances have been taken on you, and because it's to learn this for free or at a subsidized rate, go into that company, build value, build solutions, right? And as you grow in scale, come back and mentor others. And it's something that has led to Tech Revolution Africa. For example, we discovered that when we train and mentor these guys and put them in companies, we noticed there's still that gap between them and the leadership.
Yeah.
And so we said, why not have a conference? Let's bring leadership of some of the biggest, most innovative companies in Africa,
Yeah.
right? As well as these tech talents. Let's put them in the room. Let them get to see and hear stories that will motivate them.
Okay.
Persons who 20, 25 years back were just like them, newbie talents, but have gone on to build like $1 million, billion-dollar companies, right? So it's a full circle, just plugging into the talent space, ensuring
I know
that
you have one of such conferences coming up.
yes,
Yeah. Well,
yes.
what's it about?
So Tech Revolution Africa is a platform where, like he said, leaders in the tech ecosystem, these are guys who have done great, tremendous things over the past couple of years, are in the same room with innovators and the talents, the brightest emerging talents in Africa. And over the 2 days of the conference, they get to connect, they get to share experiences, they get to get inspired to go into the next phase of revolution. Now, I want to talk about something really interesting, which is the talent ecosystem in Nigeria. If you notice, there's a lot of talent drain, you know, call it jackpot, you know, a lot of people learn, get their degree, and then they get out of the country. But we are trying to say, hey, there is a lot more to gain here in Nigeria. There is a lot more to, you know,
It's a fertile ground.
exactly.
Basically.
There's a lot more that these talents can, you know, explore in this country. And, you know, when you find yourself in a country like Nigeria, you find as much as there are challenges, there are great opportunities that these talents can plug into. So that's what we're saying at Tech Revolution Africa. You know what? Come over the next 2 days at the venue of the conference and get to hear these leaders firsthand. Be in the same room. I mean, it will interest you that to access some of these leaders, you have to maybe fill a form, wait over 2 weeks.
Yeah,
but
sometimes longer.
Exactly, longer. But in one of our pre-event activities, you could literally walk into one of the 1% of the 1% CIO's office as a talent. And that's what we're saying Tech Revolution Africa is, is going to do. It's going to, you know,
so if I as a talent looking at, you know, watching you guys right now would like to be a part of it, what do I need to do?
You go to the website straight up, www.techrevolutionafrica.org. You get all the details there. Like he said, we're bringing the top 1% of the 1% of the 1% tech companies there. And this is a level playing field for talents and innovators.
Yep, pretty much go to the website and sign up and be a part. It's going to be exciting. 2 days.
All right.
Fun.
Anything tech, I'm always interested because many people probably are sleeping on it, but tech is the future, literally, because tech is something that is needed in every industry, no matter the industry. Really, guys, thank you so much for your time. It's been quite an interesting conversation. Thank you indeed.
Thank you.
At this point, we've reached the top of the hour, and of course, we have 45 minutes left on the show. Make sure you stay with us. We'll be back in a bit. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria.